welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is I'm going to give you an overview of what the prophecies seem to be saying and seem to be saying soon, as in this year and next year. And before I get into that, I haven't been doing many promos for a while, several programs with basically nothing in the front. But I wanted to say, this 1-800-200-GOLD place is really helping us to stay out of the hole. So if you have an IRA, if you have a 401k, give them a call. These guys are excellent at helping you to put your money out of paper, worthless paper that could fall or maybe become worthless, into gold and silver. 800-200-GOLD. Also, they have the new prepper bar right here. Now this is 5 of them, of course, but this is what they sent me to show you. And I don't want to break it apart because silver, then it's not nice and shiny, but it's really cool looking. You can just carry it right in your wallet. It breaks apart in all these different pieces. So if you ever found yourself out where maybe your credit cards weren't working or whatever, you could pull this out and you could probably get gasoline or food or whatever you want to. Fits right in your billfold or your purse, real nice and easy. And Prophecy Club people have burned up their phone lines calling and getting this. So I think it's really cool. I think we should have come up with this a long time ago. And this gives you all the details about it, which I will let you read. But anyway, if you can support them, it helps your Prophecy Club. And of course, always donations help too. All right, so let me go through what I think that the prophecies are saying. First of all, I know as you're looking at the background I have for today, which, by the way, that's one of the new upgrades, you're probably thinking I should be talking on that. But I felt like I was warned not to talk about that because I think that the platforms are watching us real close, and I think they're looking for a reason to pull us. So I've got to walk real carefully. So this is the way I'm going to say what I want to say. So I think Trump is a Christian. I think he's called of God to, he's not Jesus, but I think he's called of God to do the best things that can be done for this nation to begin to turn it around. Okay, so and I've got to talk in roundabout terms, you understand that. But I think it's Moloch, okay? I think that's what's really causing the real problems in the world. It's the same spirit that went after Lincoln, JFK, RFK, MLK, George Floyd, and a whole bunch of other problems. It's most of the problems in the world today is right there. Now, again, I can't get into talking about it like I would love to, but you're probably already getting a lot of the information. But what you want to know from me is, what does this mean prophetically in terms of Bible prophecy? And that's what I'm about to tell you. So we do know, in case you missed it, there's at least 4, maybe even more, maybe a whole crowd of people that saw the guy up on top of the roof. You know what I'm talking about. In addition, there were several independent reports, plus one of the other protector guys on another roof that saw the guy up there for some 3 minutes, was not allowed to remove him. Let's put it that way. I'm having to choose my words real carefully. In my opinion, the roof was not protected. They should have had a protector up there. It should have been that guy could never have get up there. Okay, but we understand that. You're hearing all of that already. People are already providing all of that. But I'm about to provide to you the things that they can't provide or won't provide to you. So here's what a couple of prophets have warned us that this actually was coming. And I'm not going into it today, perhaps maybe another time. But yes, God did tell us this was coming, and told us that he would survive it, and that God would protect it. So let's look at it this way. So first he was hit with the Russia thing. Then they tried to impeach him. Then they tried to arrest him, put him in prison through lawfare. Now with a bullet. But here's what most people are not going to be able to tell you, and that is what's next. And I'm going to say suitcase nukes. You remember Benjamin Fulford was told by this Moloch group, Khazarian Mafia, Deep State, whatever you want to call them, that we've ruled this planet for thousands of years. We'll destroy it rather than give it up. And they mean it. So I think that with Trump, they couldn't stop him with Russia, and preach lawfare. So they go to the next level. But I don't think they're going to stop with a bullet. I think they're going to stop at nothing until they get their man on the throne. So I think what is about to happen, the prophecies say that Trump will take over, and then when he takes over, then they'll hit us with suitcase nukes. Wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Oh, yes, it does. They've ruled this planet for thousands of years, and when they see that they're going to lose that control, as in with Trump, so they pull out the suitcase nukes. And it doesn't just stop there. They will destroy the whole planet to put their man, the Antichrist, on the throne. We got to remember that. So Molochs, they will stop at nothing to get the Antichrist on the throne. Trump says, they're not after me, but they're after you. I'm just standing in the way. And I believe that phrase is correct, but I believe most people don't really understand it. So what's it really saying? What it's really saying is that anything that stands in their way between trying to get the Antichrist to sit on the throne and proclaim himself God, showing himself that he is God, sitteth on the temple of God, showing himself that he is. Remember how the scripture says it. They will stop at nothing. And if that includes any man or woman that gets in their way, they'll remove them. So that no man might buy or sell. That's where this thing is really going. It's really going to where every knee must bow, every tongue must confess, and it's not that Jesus Christ is Lord, but that the Antichrist is Lord. And they are not going to stop until they get their world government. And you might be thinking, well, they're not as powerful as Jesus. No, they're not. But Jesus is giving them, along with you and I, freedom of choice. And this was also written in the scriptures some 2,000 years ago. Some of the things were written 3,500 years ago, that God would allow the devil to do these things. And there's scriptures that says that they will do the thing that God has put on their heart to do. So these things are coming, and they're not going to be stopped. All right, so the war is continuing. I'm not talking about Russia and America. That's a war too. But I'm talking about the war between light and darkness. I'm talking about the war between the Christ and the Antichrist. The war between the Christ and Lucifer. That war is continuing. Now, I believe what the prophecies are saying is we're in the middle. We're in the early phases of, I wouldn't even say in the middle. I would say we're in the early phases of a financial storm. That financial storm is going to, you remember, the dollar drops overnight, okay? No gradual thing. Overnight, boom, 30% down, a couple of months later, 30% down, a couple of months later, zero, worthless as leaves blowing in the wind. And that there will be a stock market crash, and it'll be worse than what hit us in 1929. There's a new system, a new currency system coming on. This is straight out of Proverbs 13:22. The wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just. Now, it's only said one time in the scriptures. That means it may or may not come to pass. And right now there's a real battle in the darkness, trying to stop it, and a battle in the light, trying to bring it on, trying to bring a new system to remove the Federal Reserve, the 12 banking families, to remove those evil people from controlling our money. And they've been controlling our money for at least 300 years we know of them, probably going back to the days of the pyramids. And these are the people that say that we're going to have a world government and we're not going to stop, and you're not going to stop us. So anyway, dollar crash, stock market crash, worse than 1929, which again is a very good idea. and go to 844-771-1776. Get you the prepper bar. For this one, you go to prophecyclubbar, BAR.com. prophecyclubbar.com. The other one is just prophecyclubgold.com or 800-200-GOLD. Anyway, the new currency system is coming. And it's like the old saying says, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Well, they're in the process of breaking it. Now, who's breaking it? Well, actually, on this particular example, I think it's both of them. I think it's both the darkness and the light. It's both the Molochs and the White Hats. They're all trying to break the old system, and they want to bring in a new system. Now, the White Hats want to bring in a good system, and then the deep staters want to bring in a corrupt system, a CBDC. So it is coming, and the prophecies say it is coming, and it's not going to be stopped. Remember Kissinger said, he who controls, what was it? He who controls energy can control whole continents. He who controls money can control the world. Well, that's what they want to do. This new QFS financial system, according to finalwakeupcall.info, is coming in, and it's going to be based upon, here's the way it'll work. We will have our cell phone, which is in the drawer. I'm going to pull it out. Cell phone, there'll be a device that looks, and it's about the same size as a cell phone, and this one is only for buying and selling. And here's the way it'll work. You get within range of a Wi-Fi, it automatically connects. It goes around any and all passwords. It connects to the system. If the system is not there, then it connects to the Starlink low Earth orbiting satellites. Eventually, they plan to have 42,000 of them up there. So any place on the globe you can connect. And this is not for phone calls or texting or playing games. This only is for financial transactions. Now, in the early days, it'll be good, but then within 6 months or so, it'll be bad, and that ties in with the suitcase nukes. One of the suitcase nukes is going to hit a regional bank, knock out all of the records and the backups, and that is another thing that throws the dollar into a tailspin. Someplace in there, and I would like to be able to put these in the order that they're going to be fulfilled, but I don't know that this is the order, my best guess, okay? Then there's going to be a New Madrid earthquake. We have, 14 different people who've seen a New Madrid earthquake? A massive earthquake. As a matter of fact, one of the prophecies said it would be worse than the Grand Canyon. So try to imagine that. Again, it depends on how bad America is as to how bad we got hit. Remember also, one of the people had a prophecy that said, victory, Trump sweeps the nation. And I was telling Leslie that last night. I was showing her some things, and she says, well, what do you think that means? You think that means he wins all 50 states? And I said, well, probably, but it wouldn't have to. Like probably if he were to win, say, 40 of the 50 states, would you call that a sweeping the nation? Most people would. So I don't know how many states, but he'll win. And here's another thing. The Democrats, you have to remember, the left, the Bible says that the people of this world are smarter than the people of light. And sad to say, the people of the world, they work harder, they're smarter, they have more money. Leslie was just talking to me this morning. She says, even about our own congregation members, we can't get them to want to work and do as much as we would like for them to do. And I suppose every church is like that. And it tends to be that the sinners work harder, and they seem to be more dedicated to their God. I mean, look at Muslims on their face, touching their forehead to the prayer mat 5 times a day. You think Christians would do that? Not on your life. They wouldn't get on their knees more than 5 times a year. Certainly not put the forehead to the mat, okay? So we just aren't as dedicated and not as hardworking. We tend to be a little more lazy, if I could say it that way. I think that what you're seeing is the Democrats and the Republicans are in a battle. As I've said before, I think the left is saying Trump is not going to get in. And if we have to stop him, we'll stop him any way we have to. And there will be blood, but Trump's not getting in. And then the right, ever since the trial in New York, and of course now what just happened Saturday, I mean, the right is saying, Trump, you're not going to stop him. You're not going to cheat. He's going to get in or there will be blood. So the left is saying he's not getting in or there'll be blood. The right is saying he's going to get in or there will be blood. Either way, there's about to be an internal revolution. Now, I don't know if that internal revolution starts this year. Sometimes I think, yes, it could. Then I look at the prophecies from Leslie that have not come to pass yet. No, it can't be. No, not yet. So someplace in there, according to the prophecies, in the middle of the earthquake, then suitcase nukes go off. And those suitcase nukes go off associated with the change of our currency, associated with Trump getting in, associated with the world, with the nation rejoicing, boom. And all of a sudden, suitcase nukes goes off. And one of them hits a regional bank, and that further throws our dollar into a tailspin. Also, what would happen after suitcase nukes, you can imagine. Food shortages, long lines, riots, chaos, looting. I mean, they want to defund the police, and there's been prophecies where people have seen that the cities, there's safety in the cities. Now, in the middle of this, also, there's about to be an internal revolution someplace in here. People fight against the Trump government. I believe it doesn't say, the prophecy doesn't say Trump government. But inside that, there's also the greatest revival in human history. If you watched yesterday's program, towards the end, I read a prophecy given to me personally by Bishop Brooks, and he said, I see wheelchairs, I see crutches, people coming from around the world to come in because in your meetings, there will be the power of God. He said, I see the fire coming from your hands, laying on people. Many miracles like, well, we've been talking about it, miracles like no one has seen. I mean, why do you think he told me that miracles like no one has seen going back to Adam and Eve are going to start happening? Why did he tell me? Well, apparently I'm involved in it to some degree. The greatest revival in human history. Now, when's it going to start? According to Chris Reed, he says that we're about to go through a storm that we will not begin to come out of until July of 26. That sounds about right, but again, we don't know for certain. But what I'm trying to do today is to give you an overview and help you to see with the tragedy that just happened Saturday, there can actually be some good things come out of that. We also are looking for the states to secede from the Union. And Chris Reed said all of this starts April, May, and that is about the time that we begin to see these things start, and it does not end until July 25. Well, actually, if there's a storm that only hits for approximately 9 months, that's pretty good news compared to some of the other prophecies that we've seen. Now, let me jump to this too. When these suitcase nukes hit, if you want your car to start, you want to get one of these. You get them by going to empshield.com. They have one for your cars, one for your house. They have videos up there, shows you how to put them on. It takes about 10 minutes. I put them on our cars, put it on my house. Wasn't any big deal. I'm not a mechanic. I'm not real skilled at those kind of things. And if you use the promo code PROPHECY, get your $50 discount. And also, of course, it helps your Prophecy Club. Now, let me go back to Chris Reed. We have covered this many times. Let me show you something, though. So he said he saw a $50 bill, which he thinks represents the 50 states of the United States. A third of it was torn off. Then later, a third was torn off. And then finally, it was just worthless, which is what the other prophets all say too. Then if you look at the perfect storm, now number 2 is a perfect storm. To me, that's 3 or 4 things all happening in the same time. Inflation goes up. Then number 3 is a food shortage. We've talked about that. I assume these are in the order they'll happen. riots, civil unrest. So hopefully you're getting a picture. That's what I'm trying to do today, is give you a picture. Then the Israeli-Palestinian two-state solution is reached. Well, a point it is not happening in 2024 as we thought. We watched, but it's now appearing that it will happen in 25. So again, we watch. We don't know exactly when this is going to happen. Major earthquake, this all looks like it's going to be happening now in early 25. And by the way, if it doesn't happen in 25, we'll be watching for it to happen in 26. All right, let's go on to the next one. Now, I just read this one probably a week ago, but I want to read it again. I think it's important. Chris Reed, May 22. An angel of the Lord came to me in my bedroom this morning. Look, if you say that and you're lying about that, you don't live long. So that happened. He said 2 children of the Cold War will be removed and taken out of power. He said JB will be taken out of power, and so will VP. Be better if I didn't say the words right now. And in 22, it was pretty hard to see that. But now, in light of the debate, and in light of how the Dems have turned on JB, that may be true. Pretty soon, both will happen fairly close together. When this happens, KH will become the VP. But she will struggle with this. Well, no surprise. I would suspect she would probably, what's he call her? Laughing Harris? Laughing Kamala. That's what he calls her, Laughing Kamala. Then EW steps in to help her, and she'll probably need some help. So all of that sounds right. Let's go on to the next one. Now, this is in 24. This had to do with the eclipse of 2024. He was moving fast in time of the dream starting in April, associated with the eclipse. It seemed Texas was pulled into the same time around April, so it's somewhere between April and May, he says. And conception happened at this time and coincided with this eclipse, leading to some serious event. Do you think Saturday was the serious event? It could be suitcase nukes, but maybe not. Let's go on. With the eclipse leading to some serious event happening in the nation before the elections in November 2024. Is that the serious event? There might be something more serious, but I can't imagine what it would be. This event caused absolute chaos and affected the elections in the U.S. in November 2024. One person that prophesied this would happen said that he would become radical Christian as a result of this. Would that change things? Absolutely. It seemed like an epic October surprise and pandemonium ensued. Again, there's a war. There's a war right now between the left and right like I've never seen in my lifetime. In the dream, I knew that President Biden had fizzled out, and they had tried hard to prop him up, which is in progress right now. But this event right before the election caused a major division of America right before and during the election time. Are we in the middle of that right now? Could it be that this is now in progress in the news? It sounds like it. It intensified the division already in the nation to a very scary and intense level. Is that what happened Saturday? Is that the debate? Or is this all tied together with big changes happening? Probably. Then the dream shifted. I was back in 1968. I was given an old newspaper with a headline, Assassination of 2 Major Leaders in the Same Year of Chicago Convention. Robert Kennedy Sr., Bobby Kennedy, and Martin Luther King, who were both killed in 1968. The 1968 Democratic Convention was in Chicago, and it's in Chicago in 2024 again. Now, hold on. What's that saying? The truth is, I don't know, and at this, I'm not even going to take a decent guess, and you better not take a guess either, but what it could be saying is this could be associated with an even more serious event than what happened Saturday. I knew that this was significant, but through all the painful chaos in the streets, the economy, and on the news, America had a huge awakening of awareness of evil and corruption going on in America. Now that sounds like what just happened Saturday. But apparently there's more. There's even more of the same, or more of as in maybe getting worse. It was like most of the nation on the other side finally said, we can never have this happen again. We can't. That sounds like the Saturday event, doesn't it? The dream ended, and at the end of the dream, it was now July 2025. That would sound about right for America to get past this. For some reason, July the 11th was highlighted on the calendar. Now, he didn't say that was 2024. So it may be this is some event in 25. It seemed like most of the chaos ended in the nation and things were starting to heal by July 2025. It had started in April, May 2024, and that's true. We've begun to see all of this, the big trial with Trump and the 34 convictions and all this sort of stuff. It started in April, May 2024 time frame associated with the eclipse. It was a picture coinciding with the baby conception. There were 40 weeks of pregnancy as with a human child, and this pregnancy was an intense birth pains, gradually intensifying until the delivery. There were complications before and after the birth. Since the conception begins around April, around 9 months later, the baby, the new nation of America, is being born. What new nation? New currency. Getting rid of the old people that have ignored the Constitution. And like I started to say earlier, see, right now the Dems, or the left, is saying that Trump wants to be a dictator. And several of them even said that they were feared that he would become a dictator and arrest them. Well, again, they have a looking glass. They have a time machine. I think they've seen what is coming. I think they know Trump wins, and he does become a dictator in their eyes. We call it commander-in-chief, and it'll be of the new Republic of the United States, because the old United States of America, all capital corporation, has been bankrupt under my understanding now for, what is it, like 5 years? It's been bankrupt. It's gone. Chapter 7, out of business. So around January 25, what's interesting is also about the time of the inauguration. But this baby was born, and the thing happened right before the election. Was almost like it went into Braxton Hicks contractions. It seemed like the birthing time was then, but it was still very intense and felt very real, and it was like the baby wanted to come at that moment, but somehow it was delayed being born like a premature baby before the election. I hope that this is not when the internal revolution starts, but it could be. When this bad event happens, now, was that Saturday? Was that the debate? Was that JB and VP being removed? Or some other event? Okay, so when this bad event happens, it held off in January, so the birth is, as I said, January 25, and was placed in an incubator even after it was born for several months. The baby lived and was a beautiful baby, and the dream ended by me seeing the baby wrapped in an American flag, like in the maternity ward. The baby was laying like in the beds with their name tags on top. The name tag of the baby read America, and it was the Rebirth of America. But when I was reading it, that's when I got a yawn, so maybe part of it is not exactly accurate. So his comments are, the dream seems to portray an awakening, starting in April, May 2024, with a significant shaking going on starting, coinciding with a 40-week painful and traumatic pregnancy. In other words, a new nation, a new currency, a new restart, reconnecting. Apparently, what we're looking at is massive arrests, military tribunals, a cleaning up of our nation, and then the way the plan is supposed to work is after the king has cleaned the nation, then he returns it to the Constitution. I think that's the plan. Now, whether it'll happen like that, I don't know. The traumatic event triggers chaos before the elections, and lasts for several months, ending with a new birth, a new nation, new currency, new name, in January 25, requiring care in the incubator until at least July of 2025. So there you go. I think that's very important information. I recommend you send this out to your friends. My suggestion, josephskitchen.com. So right now they're overstocked on red wheat. They want to get rid of the red wheat, so they're making this special. Buy one pail of red wheat and get another pail of red wheat free. Buy one, get one free while supplies last. josephskitchen.com. Now, what does that mean? Well, one loaf of bread feeds one person for about a week. Each bucket makes about 28 loaves, which means one bucket feeds one person for about 6 months. My suggestion is right down here. Get 8 pails, feed 4 people for about 1 year, and right now they'll double it. So if you buy 8, they'll send you 16 pails. That'll feed 8 people for a year or 4 people for 2 years. And it's nitrogen packed, so it's going to keep for lots and lots of years. Okay, how many we don't know. But even if you're not making it into bread, you can boil it and eat it like cereal or something like that. So my suggestion right here, josephskitchen.com. Get it while they're doing a summer blowout.